The CSM would like to express our appreciation and gratitude to the outgoing chair of the CFS, Ambassador Thanawat Tenzin, for your leadership in the past 2 years, his genuine interest for the concerns of marginalized people and communities, his early initiatives to respond to the hunger and malnutrition crisis exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, his advocacy for enhanced use and application for CFS policy instruments, his openness for continued dialogue with the CSM, and his personal engagement to facilitate conversations between the UN Deputy Secretary General and the CSM on the UN Food System Summit, despite huge differences. Dear Ambassador Thanawat, esteemed chair, you are a person who seeks to generate harmony, even in contexts of great divergence. And this is certainly an extraordinary talent and attitude. Thank you so much for this. The spirit of fair collaboration, however, only works if the principles of the CFS are respected by all and not played against each other. It is absurd when the consensus principle of the CFS is used to remove human rights language against the human rights principles of this platform and of the United Nations. If the consensus principle is used to delete sensitive terms such as coercive unilateral measures or gender diversity from decision boxes, it is being abused for the political purpose of blocking legitimate concerns voiced by countries and other participants. And when paired with the arrogant attitudes of a few powerful countries accustomed to imposing their interests on others, such misinterpretation and misuse of consensus building has the potential to severely weaken or even threaten the CFS in fulfilling its mandate to respond to the huge challenges of a growing food crisis and to work ambitiously and effectively towards the progressive realization of the right to food. So at the end of this 49th plenary, the CSM remains extremely concerned about the direction that the CFS is taking. The decision by the CFS to not respond effectively to one of the greatest crises of our times, to not play its coordination role in responses to COVID-19 is scandalous. Governments, UN agencies, HLP, the HLPE and CFS participants that supported the initiative for a globally coordinated policy response to the food security and nutrition impacts of COVID-19 voiced a global emergency in the CFS, and the CFS failed to respond due to the objection of a few and the silence of many. The CSM has no words to adequately express our shock at this same shameful inaction. And let us be very clear, those who blocked this initiative seem to be profoundly alienated from the disturbing realities and struggles of the disenfranchised people of the planet. The CFS debate on the UN Food System Summit made evident that the summit generated a deep divide among member states and other participants, which will take concerted efforts and a great deal of time to bridge and to rebuild trust. The non-negotiated commitments, outcomes, or rather the non-negotiated outcomes from the UNFSS corporate-led multi-stakeholder approach blurs the differentiated responsibilities between member states, intergovernmental organizations, rights holders, scientists, and the corporate sector. And it failed the people most at risk of hunger and destitution, as well as many member states, especially from the global south. This is why CFS member states appeared significantly divided on how to tackle this UNFSS, with many voicing concerns on its modalities and implications. In any future discussions, the CFS needs to take into account the concerns raised by thousands of small-scale food producers, indigenous peoples, and civil society organizations. The CSM welcomes the new chair, Ambassador Gabriel Ferrero, and we congratulate you on your election. We also acknowledge and appreciate the candidacy of Ambassador Midi Mungwi, and we invite both of you to continue to work passionately for strengthening the CFS in line with its vision and mandate. However, given the deeply worrying situation of the CFS, we believe that the new chair faces huge challenges. We would appreciate it if we can engage soon in a regular dialogue with you on these challenges and possible responses to them. CSM also welcomes the new CFS Bureau, and we express our openness to collaborate with all of you in the spirit of the reformed CFS. CSM would like to express its appreciation of the high-level panel of experts recognized as the most pertinent, legitimate, inclusive, and transparent science-based science policy interface on food systems. We thank HLPE Chair Martin Cole and the outgoing steering committee for their outstanding work. Finally, the virtual modality and the European time zone made participation in this plenary particularly difficult for many. And we think much more needs to be done to improve the accessibility of the CFS meetings in general. We salute the tremendous commitment of so many delegates from governments as well as from participants, including from the civil society and indigenous peoples mechanism, who participated in the CFS 49 in the dead of night and in early mornings. CSM would like to thank you all for these great efforts. We would also like to thank all the technicians, interpreters, and the team of the CFS Secretariat for their precious work, without which this global gathering would not have been possible. Thank you again very much, and please stay well and safe, everyone, during this continuing pandemic.